Audio Jungle.
In fact, it's actually been 4 different Pokemon that have Dynamax so far, so let's see if we can make it 6 in this Game 3.
Here we go into Game 3. Tournament lives on the line for both players. This is a knockout match. Eduardo, of course, we've already seen the Durant in this last matchup. It had a poor leading, but was able to come back in and sweep entirely. The Rotom Wash, something we didn't see in Game 2, but was so strong for Nihal in Game 1. Have to imagine that these players are going to be thinking about that.
Yeah, and I think like Eduardo's always bringing Gastron to this matchup. I think that last game actually really highlighted the value of Gastron. Like, Nihal has 3 Pokemon that are weak to Earth Power, right? And it just does so much damage, especially when you combo it with that Sand from Tyranitar, effectively able to get like a knockout onto Gengar, into Arcanine, or into Bisharp, and it does so much damage against Arcanine as well. So I think Eduardo's always bringing Gastron. The question is, how do you support it? If you do expect Nihal to go back into Rotom Wash and maybe play around a Rotom Wash-oriented game, then you have to look at, what counters Rotom Wash outside of Gastron as well. And if Durant doesn't have like a bug-type attack to hit it for a lot of damage, then that could be problematic. So then, I look at Gourgeist, but it just feels so tough to bring Gourgeist into a matchup with Togekiss and Bisharp.
And Gengar.
And Gengar, yeah, exactly. So I think like Eduardo could be content going with the same Pokemon. Maybe you don't need Durant this time around. Keep it in the back. Try to bait out the Arcanine. The thing is, even if your opponent like doesn't lead Arcanine and you bring Durant, like they can always just switch into Arcanine. Right. So, but I think Eduardo made some cool plays in that last game where he basically baited out Arcanine immediately and then switched out his Durant to get the switch out. And there's Arcanine coming in once again.
Arcanine and Togekiss this time around for Nihal, bringing in the Arcanine and that supporter Togekiss. Durant back out on the field alongside Tyranitar. So very high value Intimidate here coming out from Arcanine. Although, of course, we do know that the Max Quake still KOs through the Intimidate. Harder to do that, though, when there's a Togekiss on the other field.
Yeah, and I think Eduardo bringing the Durant saying, I don't really care about the Intimidate. I know how much damage I do anyway. A single Intimidate isn't going to matter, especially after I Dynamax. But this time, Tyranitar being out here puts on a lot of pressure against both the Togekiss and the Arcanine. Of course, both of those are weak to Rock's Tide or any, rock But I do think the combination of Togekiss and Gastrodon is strong enough to deal with Nihal's entire team, especially because now the threat of like Dynamax Rotom does not exist.
Yeah, and the only advantages that Nihal is getting is speed so far on that Togekiss now that Conkeldurr has switched out. Bisharp is going to be the final Pokemon that Nihal has brought to this competition. And we are going to have a Dynamax from Eduardo, so picking one of Gastrodon or Togekiss to Dynamax here, likely just going to try and match the Dynamax from Nihal's side with his own Togekiss, like we see here. Maybe try to catch up an Airstream boost, or just try to go for some big damage.
I think Eduardo's Togekiss can pull this off if you knock out the Bisharp. Now, presumably, Nihal's going to go for a Max Airstream, which is exactly what he goes for, to make sure that your Togekiss and Eduardo's end does not get a speed boost and outspeed this Bisharp. Bisharp is, of course, pretty good answer against this Togekiss. So if Eduardo calls this, though, and gets the knockout on the Bisharp, that could be absolutely huge.
Just going to be the Airstream fired back to try and match speed boost. Deals a lot of good damage, but not quite enough to pick up the knockout there. With just the Max Airstream.
Is it a double
Gastrodon has a shot, though.
Oh, there's the Scald! Okay, it's going into the Bisharp. Does that do enough damage? Oh, he gets the knockout! That's so huge! That is so huge. Eduardo now has 2 extra turns of Dynamax. And oh my goodness, yeah, I think might have been
2 extra turns of Dynamax. Nihal only has speed boost on the Togekiss, which is about to lose Dynamax, so Arcanine and Conkeldurr in the back here.
Yeah, oh my goodness, that was essential. And I think from Nihal's end, you know, if Eduardo doesn't get that knockout, then you get a free switch into Bisharp, and then you can go for the Iron Head the following turn. But now there is a Dynamax advantage on Togekiss's end, and so can go for a couple of Max Airstreams. Of course, it has to worry about Snarl from Arcanine, but because Togekiss on Eduardo's end has gotten that Max Airstream boost first, it would actually move before Arcanine Snarl, and of course it can also just manage to land a critical hit. So, oh my goodness, that was a huge knockout.
Okay, well, Eduardo's going to retweet the retreat the Gastrodon for the Tyranitar, while Togekiss finally starting to get off some damage to both Pokemon.
Oh my goodness.
The weakness policy activates from that Dazzling Gleam.
Oh, this is
huge buffs to the attack, while Togekiss just going for a straight Max
smart.
Starfall.
That covers the potential Will-O-Wisp. Oh, that is such a good play by Eduardo. That covers every option
gets the critical hits this time around. Eduardo getting the damage onto the enemy Togekiss. Still has 1 more turn of Dynamax, of course. Nihal used his turns of Dynamax to take out that Durant with those 2 Max Airstreams, but Arcanine now setting up the Snarls on Togekiss, trying to limit the damage output, but that doesn't matter if Togekiss can keep getting those crits. And now that the Tyranitar has the weakness policy boost and Misty Terrain up, it is angry.
I love that play from Eduardo. You cover so many options. The one way like Nihal can maybe counteract that is if you switch like Arcanine out into Conkeldurr, but that is a really difficult play to make in that position. So Eduardo putting on so much offensive pressure right now, can even give Tyranitar a speed boost by going for another Max Airstream. And of course, Nihal will have that Conkeldurr in the back, so that can put in some late game pressure, but this Togekiss being faster will be able to put on so much damage, and I think you could do something like Max Airstream into Arcanine and Rock Slide. From Nihal's end, perhaps maybe you contemplate going for a Protect with that Arcanine, stall out this last turn of Dynamax, and then get the free switch into Conkeldurr. But that was a really, really clever play by Eduardo last turn. I love the fact that he set up Misty Terrain. Even though Arcanine didn't go for the Will-O-Wisp, it covers every option, and it's actually going to be an Arcanine switch out, which could be a little bit risky here.
Yeah, really risky to try to sneak in the Conkeldurr on this turn. Togekiss is still Dynamaxed.
Oh,
Nihal's going to protect.
Don't follow me either.
Don't follow me. It's just like, I think I know where you're going to go with this.
Where's this going? Is this Conkeldurr?
It is the Conkeldurr on the switch-in! That's a KO! He went for it.
Oh my goodness, yeah. I think you can respect it there. I mean, that feels so risky to me, and I think that will secure Eduardo the game here. Oh my goodness!
What a play there. Nihal trying to go for the read to get the Conkeldurr in safely. Unfortunately, just too afraid of that Tyranitar, felt that he needed to put the offensive pressure of Mach Punch on there immediately. Instead, gets knocked out, has to switch in the Arcanine. Intimidate's going to cut down the attack of Tyranitar a little bit, but the damage is done.
Wow. I mean, outstanding back-to-back plays there by Eduardo, and I think that play was a really safe play as well, right? Like, Max Airstream guarantees you the speed boost there. It means that you'll be able to outspeed things. Rock Slide covers any switch-ins. There's no reason not to click Rock Slide on Tyranitar. And I do feel like Max Airstream into Arcanine is the only play that really makes sense there, right? Why would you target Togekiss there? I guess you would maybe target it if you want to get the KO through Protect, but it's not really pressuring you that much at this point. Battling Gleam isn't doing that much damage anyway. So, yeah, I think that really should secure Eduardo this game. Conkeldurr was the one thing that was really threatening the Gastron in the back. Togekiss is so low at this point, and
Arcanine can't do anything to it.
Exactly. Oh, my God.
That's an Air Slash coming out from Nihal. So there is one option left. Critical hits and flinches from Air Slash. Gets both of them. Here comes the Heat Wave from Arcanine. Will pick up the KO on the Togekiss. Not going to be able to deal enough damage to